And as of now, all the sectoral indices are also trading in the red, and the broader end of the market taking a knock of almost 2% in the trading session. So it's a very negative day that's coming in today, Shesha.
Well, yes, negative day for Indian equity markets, but let's get started. This is a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. On the technical side, we are now joined by Mr. Nagaraj Shetti of HDFC Securities. Nagaraj will come to you in just a bit, but before that, let's talk about L&T, a stock that is declining for the second consecutive day today. Remember, the stock ended 6% lower in trade on Monday, and the stock is down another 7%. In fact, it has recovered a tad bit, but despite that, still down over 5% in trade today. Now remember, the company has significant exposure to the Middle Eastern region, and there are concerns over execution, and that is the reason the stock has been declining for the last two trading sessions. Nearly 37% of their order book comes from the Middle Eastern region, and 40% of their total contribution of revenue comes from this region. Now, as far as valuations are concerned, they clearly have contracted because of the correction that we have seen in the stock. It is currently trading at about 27 times 1 year forward. So that's the kind of valuation correction we've seen versus about 28 times that it was trading earlier. Now remember, we spoke to an analyst last week, and he suggested that yes, this is expected to be a short-term headwind for the stock, and the long-term prospects of the company will look very solid. But on the back of exposure that it has to the Middle Eastern region, the stock is declining for the second day.
All right, L&T in focus. In fact, after declining 7%, it's down and out again with cuts of more than 5%. But Nagaraj, if it does Coal India for us, Coal India is definitely the top Nifty gainer and one of the only 4 gainers on Nifty today. 2% gains coming in Coal India. On the charts, how does it look like?
Hi, good afternoon, Ankita. Yes, rightly said, Coal India has been outperforming the benchmark since last few sessions. We have seen some moderate decline recently, and the stock price has bounced back very well from the lower levels. Overall chart pattern is looking positive. Higher tops and bottoms is intact, and once it moves above 444-45 levels, I'm expecting a sharp upside from the next resistance levels. So I'm expecting this stock to reach up to the next important resistance of around 458-460 in the near term.
Moving on from Coal India to the next counter that is in focus, and that is Tejas Networks. Now remember, Tejas Network is one counter which has been completely bucking the trend. In fact, in a market like this, the stock is up 60% in the last 4 trading sessions. In fact, in today's trading session also, it is trading with gains of over 7%, as the company has launched hyperscalable data center interconnected DCI platform at the Mobile World Congress. And on the back of this new launch, we do see Tejas Network that was up another 7%. Though it has given up all the morning gains, and we do see profit booking now coming in on the counter, and therefore it is still managing to hold on to a shade of green. It's still trading with gains of 1.5%.
Well, yes, that's Tejas Networks for you, but let's also talk about all stocks which are in focus on the back of the up move that we are seeing in crude prices in the global market. Remember, Brent crude is now nearing that $82 per barrel mark, which is an up move of a solid 39% from the recent lows that we saw in the month of December last year. That's the kind of up move that we are seeing in crude oil prices, and on the back of that, we have several stocks which are in focus. Oil refiners, the likes of Oil India, HOAC, ONGC continue to remain in focus, and it's a positive for these counters. But on the flip side, for oil marketing companies, the likes of HPCL, BPCL and IOCL, margins come under pressure on account of surge in crude oil prices, and hence all of these stocks are reeling under pressure. They're for you on your screens, down in excess of 4% each of them. Let's also talk about a couple of other stocks which are in focus on the back of margin pressure that is likely to persist on account of surge in crude oil prices. Paint companies, the likes of Asian Paints, Berger Paints, Kansai Nerolac are all under pressure on the back of that. Not just that, tire companies, lubricant manufacturers are also under pressure on the back of surge in crude oil prices.
All right, so all these counters are in focus on the back of crude oil, but let's move on. Nagaraj, you forget RVNL for us. RVNL is also a counter, that's declining. In the last 5 days, it has, seen a sharp downtick of almost 11%. Going ahead on the charts, what are the levels to watch out for?
Yeah, RVNL is looking weak, no doubt about that. Longer term charts suggest lower tops and lower bottom that has formed recently is indicating a more downside. Current move below 300 levels indicating a sharp downside breakdown of the important support somewhere around 300. The overall chart pattern is looking very negative, and I'm expecting more declines in the near term. So the next lower levels to be watched will be around 270.
All right, moving from RVNL to the next counter that is in focus, and that is Paras Defense, that was trading with gains of over 7%. As the company has signed an MOU with the green optics company South Korea, they intend to establish a framework for joint development, manufacturing, business development in the respective regions of optics and optical systems for space and defense applications. And also, besides that, we have the Middle Eastern war that's going on, the tension that's rising. On the back of that, all the defense stocks are likely to be in focus. So on the back of these two news flows, Paras Defense is up in a way 6% in trade as of now.
Well, yes, that's Paras Defense for you, bucking the trend in an otherwise weak market. But on that note, we need to slip into a very short break. We'll discuss many more buzzers on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat, a show where we discuss all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. And let's talk about one such counter, and that is Ola Electric. Now remember, over the last few months, the stock has taken a big knock, but today, in an otherwise tepid market, the stock is up nearly 2%. It is off from the highest point of the day. At one point in time, the stock was up as much as 7%. It is off from those highs, but despite that, an uptick of about 2% is what the company is currently showing. Now, there's a news piece about a new product launch. The company yesterday informed the exchanges that its new road coaster range now starts at about 80,000 rupees. This brings electric motorcycles directly at par with the popular entry segment ICE motorcycles. So that's the new product launch that the company has done, and that is the reason the stock is gaining in an otherwise tepid market.
All right, that was the last stock for the day. Thank you so much for joining us. Nagaraj, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go on that note. But let's move on and let's talk about the crude and where it's headed amid the rising West Asia